works. But hopefully my phone doesn't die. So because my mic is plugged into my phone. Okay, whatever. It's fine. We're going to be okay. Okay, so welcome to the first episode. I don't know how to start. The first podcast with a guest. So I guess tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sheera. I'm 18 years old. I was diagnosed with functional neurological disorder, also known as FND, in 2022.
Okay. So you answered the second question, which was, do you mind explaining about the chronic illness you have and how long you've had it for?
So functional neurological disorder, FND, it's a neuropsychiatric disorder that is basically the brain and body stop communicating with each other. So it's a nervous system regulation disorder in normal people terms.
Right. It's a software problem, not a hardware problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's how.
Communication issue.
Yeah. And my husband's a programmer and I'm like, it's funny. Like, could you fix me? Yeah.
I volunteer.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. How did it affect you being a teenager?
Oh, so that's a really good question, actually. It was really hard. Because when you're a teenager, you're going through this like identity crisis, right? You're trying to discover who you are as an individual. And then this thing just comes out of nowhere, throws a wrench in like your entire plan. Like you're still a kid, your whole life's in front of you, and then suddenly you doubt if there's anything in front of you anymore. So it's lonely. It's really lonely, and it's isolating, and it's scary.
Yeah,
teenagers, they're not very mature, and even adults will walk away when there's a chronic illness. Teenagers, they run in the direction. They want nothing to do with it. And as a fellow teenager, I couldn't really blame them for that behavior. I understood why. It didn't make it any easier to be the one left behind.
Right. Makes sense. What was I going to say? Part of FND is your brain is fried and you don't remember anything.
True story.
I was like, I had something that like, okay, it's fine. I'll remember it soon. And then, so how do your friends and family treat you?
The friends that have stuck around are very understanding and supportive and just really kind, you know. My family, they try their best. It's hard. Right. It's scary. There's a lot of denial there. There's a lot of grief.
Yeah.
But they are trying their best. It's funny and a little pathetic that my best friend is my nurse.
Yeah.
And the people I see the most often are my doctors. I like to say, the only guy I put makeup on for.
Welcome to the life of the chronic illness.
Just put together enough that you believe me, but not together that you think I'm lying. Exactly.
You have to go put together so that, yeah. But then that's true also. Like when people see you out when you're all dressed up, they're like, oh, so she's better.
She's faking it. She's lying about it for attention. And it's like, no. I'm just trying to make myself feel better by looking cute.
Right.
No, I'm not lying. I'm trying to just hold on to the tiny things I can control.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Okay, so a little insight of what an average day might look like for you with having your chronic illness.
Oh gosh. So like, I'm winding down for the night at like 9-ish, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're a teenager, so that's like really early for a teenager. Like you're supposed to be out partying.
It's pretty pathetic. I know.
No.
The fact that I've never smoked a cigarette or had any alcohol, right? Never did.
We always feel hungover though. Like we feel hungover the next day.
I need weed to get high.
Right.
Just have me have a seizure. I feel like I'm cloud nine afterwards sometimes.
Right. And like you just walk around your block you take a nap, you wake up feeling hungover.
Yeah. Do you relate to that though? There are like two kinds of seizures. The kind that you're like giddy and euphoric after, and the kind that like wipes you out and
I
you're
have,
just questioning society.
it's both. It's both, yeah.
I have one or the other. Either my nurse has literally flat out said to me, like, girl, are you on laughing gas? I was just like cackling about, I don't even remember.
I cry sometimes after because like you lose control during it and it's scary. But like you know that because like you've been down this road so many times, like you're gonna be okay. But like
It
you
doesn't
lose
feel
right, you lose control of your body and like you just lose it.
I
So
feel like unconsciously people don't realize how much that hurts.
yeah,
Like, so we were in class in psychology discussing our biggest fears, and someone said, my biggest fear is to lose control of my body and to be dependent on others.
right,
And in my head, I'm thinking, so your biggest fear is me.
yeah,
It's becoming me.
yeah.
That's a great
Which
thing,
is yeah,
you know?
and like they know that you're going through that too.
Not necessarily.
No,
But they see the dog.
right.
They see the limping.
And the dog could be just there. You know, everyone has an emotional support dog. And they're
or
yeah, yeah. Like maybe she's faking that too. Maybe she just put that thing on him to make it look like it's a service animal, but really she just wants to bring her pet to school.
As a prank. Are you lying about your training for attention?
Exactly.
All for treats.
Now dogs are doing it for attention. So what mobility aids do you use?
I use a service dog. I owner trained my service dog. I started training her in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. 2022 to be a service dog.
Yeah.
I got her in 2018. But she was just a pet at the time.
Right.
And then she naturally started alerting to my seizures. So that was 2019 when my seizures started. So we kind of like worked with her for a bit.
Right.
And then she graduated as a fully trained service dog towards the very end of 2021, the beginning of 2022.
Okay. And you don't use anything else?
No, I've been looking into possibly like crutches or rollator, maybe a wheelchair, but insurance won't cover it for me. And
Story of our lives. Yeah.
They're very expensive, and you do need to be in an environment that's going to be supportive of those decisions. And
that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are like, the people who are like, you're just doing it for attention. Do you realize how expensive it is to be chronically ill? Like
it's the price of a car. Some of these are the price of a car.
And like, you can't work.
To get another service dog, if I don't owner train it, is $75,000. I'm pretty sure you can buy like a very fancy car for that price point.
Exactly. And like, some people can't work because of their disability, and then how are they supposed to pay for this stuff? But again, we're doing it for the attention. So.
Right. I happen to be working, but it's like healthy people are working 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'm working 40 hours a month.
Okay.
It's a very different world.
Yeah.
Pay for 1 week of groceries on the salary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay.
It's mostly to give me like a schedule and routine and a feeling of accomplishment, despite the fact that I'm actually not doing anything.
Right. So the next question, it's probably going to open like a whole, like, the floodgates, but mentally, how are you doing?
Oh.
And like, it's okay, because I already told people, bring tissues, we're going to cry, it's fine. If you don't cry, like, it's okay.
I'm going to do my best to not cry.
It's fine. I've been crying all day. Like, seriously.
Have been testing me.
Yeah.
So, it really affects my mental health.
Yeah.
But the disability isn't what does the biggest impact, right? That's hard. It's like 9.9 out of 10 hard.
Yeah.
Dealing with society's reaction to my disability is 100 out of 10 hard.
Yeah.
It's so much harder to go about like your daily life when people are just like, so opposed to believing you. Like, I go to a PCP appointment, and when they respond with like, "Oh, I believe you," I like full of tears. Like, really?
You want to hug them.
You're not gonna call psych?
Yeah.
Like, floodgates, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's also at the same time, then they want to order all this testing, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the hospital.
Right.
Not again.
No. Like, don't want to volunteer that.
No.
Yeah, no, thank you. Because, like, then they start bringing in psych. And
What are you looking for?
yeah, like, I had that. And then, like, you don't want to go when you actually are, like, dying. Like,
if we're
people...
gonna die anyways, we want to die at home or we're...
Yeah, but people with a chronic illness rather suffer at home in pain than go to the ER and be judged.
Because we don't see a solution, right? What's the definition of insanity? Do you know? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Right.
I've done that and it didn't go right.
Right.
Why would I try again? Why would I give you another chance? You're
Sure.
adding to my medical trauma, which is not helping me long term, right? I need to keep my mental health in a good place to hope that it will affect my physical health for the better.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah. It's like...
The anger.
It's the anger. It's like just... Yeah, it's depressing. And then people are so jealous that we get to like stay home all day and do nothing.
Bring your dog everywhere and get extra time on tests and sleep in and not work.
Yeah.
I always say to people like, "Oh, I wish I could take my dog everywhere." I was like, if you take my seizures, you can have mine.
Yeah, all right. It's like the people who are like, "Oh, I wish I could get pushed in a wheelchair instead of walking." I'm like, how do you say that to somebody? Like, how do you come up to a stranger that you don't even know and you literally like, and it's like, they're like, "Oh, we're just joking." Like, how could you walk up to somebody and be like,
funny.
Yeah, like, I wish I can get pushed in a wheelchair when I'm too tired to walk. It's like,
I honestly find it so dehumanizing, the things that are acceptable to say to people who are chronically ill. Like,
yeah.
I walk around and legally with the service dog, you are allowed to ask me 2 questions. If you are a business or
Right.
police officer, right, you're allowed to ask, is that a service animal required for a disability?
Right.
Task has a dog been trained to perform? But random students on campus will come over. What's a dog for? What's wrong with you? And it's like, I don't owe you that information. But
right.
They still get offended if I say that.
Yeah.
And there are nicer ways to ask those questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always followed by like, "Oh, I hope you get better soon."
Yeah.
Sorry, did they not teach you what chronic meant in elementary school?
Exactly. That's a whole nother podcast though. Like, I'm having a podcast based on like the craziest and stupidest things that people have actually told you, and I had people write in, so that like, and I got interesting stories.
Oh, I can send you mine.
The craziest advice you got from someone that would magically cure you.
I think the like classic one that we've all gotten at some point is yoga.
Yoga.
100%. But also for some reason they were like convinced that if they took me off of sugar, it did nothing.
No.
Neither did taking me off of gluten, and neither did taking me off of food dyes, and neither did taking off dairy, because like the correlation wasn't there. But A+ for effort, F- for research.
Sugar will help you walk again. Can you imagine though going up to like, I can't.
Well, these
like,
were medical professionals. I wasn't even talking about
medical professionals. Okay, well, would they say that to someone who's like a quadriplegic? Like, would they be like, get off of sugar? Right. So then why is it okay to say that to somebody who has a neurological condition? Give up sugar and you'll walk again. Like,
I don't know, but I think what's the most infuriating about it is that like they think that these placebo effect kind of treatments are going to work because they don't believe us to begin with.
right.
And it's very frustrating because they push off giving us access to the things that might help us. Right? Like to get a doctor to write off on like a PT script.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah. Okay, one second. Next question. Any advice you can give to a teenager who might be going through the same thing or something similar, like they're chronically ill, like,
Find a community of people who understand, because it is so devastating and so lonely to be alone and invisible in a room of people who say they see you and care about you.
Yeah.
Like the old version of you, and they don't see what you've become, and they're unwilling to let go of the past. And you need to learn to accept yourself and love yourself as the person you are now, not
right
before your illness. And you cannot do that when the people around you are unable to accept the changes.
You have to
people who get you.
Yeah, you have to like mourn your old self
around people who it's safe to grieve.
Right. And then like even for yourself though, you have to like mourn who you once were.
I don't think we ever stop mourning.
Right.
I think we cycle through those stages of grief.
Yeah, for sure. But like it feels good though to like mourn it, but then again a month later I'll mourn it again. But like or the day later, like I'll have my ups and downs, but like it's depressing as hell.
It's hard. It's isolating and it's lonely, and for the most part, we spend a lot of time alone when we're chronically ill. But even when we go out into the communities and things like that, we're still alone. We're surrounded by people and we're still alone. You need to find a community of people who can see you. Not just what they want to see, but the full picture. Yeah,
I don't need the pity. I don't need like the pity. I want to be treated like how you, right, like a human. And I don't know why that's so hard to ask.
Because the bar is deep, deep underground.
And like people who I used to like hang out with, when I try like, and they see me out, they don't know how to treat me. Like they're afraid to like open up their mouth because they might say something like, I don't know.
But I find that people say the wrong thing all the time, but it's so much worse for you to avoid me.
Yeah. Like I had that last night.
Offend your friends.
And they just like couldn't even, like I saw it was like on their mind, like they wanted to say something, but like they couldn't, and it made it more awkward, and then they just like walked away.
It's really hard.
Like ignore them, like they just ignored everything. Like they ignored the mobility, like they just ignored it. I'm
not used to people ignoring my mobility aid. People don't even say hi to me. They're like, "Oh, hi, Kali."
Yeah, because yours is a friendly little dog. Mine's a rollator. You're not gonna come up and like start petting it.
I forget though that you're not supposed to comment on other people's mobility aids. Like if I see that you have a pretty colored wheelchair, heck yeah, I want to say, "Wow,
sure,
so pretty."
That's
but
fine.
Like I'll say it, and then people look at me like side eye. I'm like, "Oh, sorry. I'm used to my mobility aid being addressed." I'm not
like if you want to come up and comment on the color of my rollator, go right ahead. But if you're gonna like say something negative about it, like don't even bother coming up. And like I went out to the grocery store the other day, and this older lady saw me with my rollator, and like she just looked like she wanted to say something because like she didn't stop staring, which made it worse. Like either say something or don't say something. Like stop staring.
Just walk away. If you have a problem, turn around and walk.
Yeah, but like I already know what's on their mind. Like, honey, you're too young for that.
You're too pretty.
Or like, you're too pretty. Or like
people say that. Like, what? Just because I'm disabled, I'm supposed to be ugly? No,
yeah.
I'm gorgeous. I'm drop dead gorgeous. Turn the heads in the room gorgeous.
Yeah. Or like the outfit would look so much better without that mobility.
No. Me and my dog mask when I want to look cute.
It's like, what is that? How do you even like, where were you raised? Like, how do you say that? I don't even understand it. Like, I've taught my kids even before this, like I've taught them from day one that you will see people in life who are completely different from you. They'll, have one arm, one leg. Like,
understood the fear around differences.
Right.
I'm also always irritated, like, it's perpetrated in the media, right?
Yeah.
It's never the princess who has a disability. It's always the villain. Whether they're hunched back or they're blind or they're paralyzed, it's always the bad guy.
There's no princess in a wheelchair.
Or with a rolling.
Right, but like there's no
any sort of disability.
Disney, yeah.
Rapunzel was blind for a few seconds there.
Yeah.
But like that was it.
But then like other people find this topic so like pathetic. They're like, who cares?
Or they find it oh, okay, so I got offended in psychology, right? Because they gave two examples, like who do you expect to be happier? Someone who a year after this event, someone who was in a car accident and lost all their mobility, so they're paralyzed.
Right.
Or someone who won the lottery. A year later, which one's happier?
The one who was in the car accident.
Exactly, but that's unfathomable to so many people.
Exactly.
I cannot imagine that there's anything left to live for.
Exactly.
That there's anything left for you to offer. And that hurts so bad. Like as a teenager who's still trying to find where I fit in the world, I'm only 18. I've been a legal adult for just about 3 months now. Not even. And I'm constantly being told that there is no point in my existence because I will never be anything to anybody.
It's not true. But that's not true.
Not true. I am my disability.
Yeah.
But there's not a period there. There's a comma. There's and so much more. I am disabled. I have FND. I have seizures.
You can do so much though. And
I can write. I can listen. I can learn. I can teach. I can engage. I'm so much more than just FND, but either they pretend they can see everything but the FND, which is not helpful, or they can only see the FND, which is not helpful either.
Yeah.
Whole picture. You know, I'm not just this tiny little piece that you want to acknowledge in the moment.
And like you've grown so fast in a way because like you didn't have a choice. You had to grow up because you're going through this, right? So you didn't get to be a teenager.
It's true.
So it's changed you in a way though. Like, do you feel like it's making you a better person or? I
think I'm more empathetic. I think I'm less quick to make assumptions about other people. Yeah. Whoa, that scared me.
That scared me. I forgot you had a dog for a second.
Me too.
I was like, okay.
Down.
Yeah, she's like
on this topic too.
She's like, I'm out of here. It's depressing.
What happened?
Yeah.
Did I get too?
She's like, I want to be in the interview.
You want to be in the interview? Come here. Say hi. You want to say hi? Say hi, everyone. I like to deserve attention and don't like to be ignored.
Exactly.
Finest.
But when people, the other thing I hate is when people are like, yeah, we understand what you're going through. How could you
once in your life where you've had the flu?
Right. And then when I told someone like you can't compare the flu to what I'm going through, they got so offended. They were like, what do you mean? I was like, it's not the same thing. And they got hurt by me saying it's not the same thing. And I had to like start apologizing to them for that.
That is actually like a tactic people use when they're afraid of the conversation. They'll flip it so that you, the person venting, have to be the validator.
Yeah.
And it really messes with relationships if we're constantly pushed into the validating you for having to support me.
Yeah.
When it shouldn't be significantly different from how you support any of your other friends.
It's like having a cold or the flu is totally different. I mean, am I wrong? Like,
no,
is that
you're right?
Right.
I think it's difficult, but then imagine it never going away. That's the
right.
difference. One is brief. You see a hope, right? There's something to look forward to where it's gone.
Exactly. Or you go to the doctor and they believe you, like, oh, you have the flu, here's medicine, go home, rest, you'll feel better.
Right. You wake up every day knowing that this is what it's going to be, and there's no medication, and there's no doctor who's going to believe you, and there's no cure.
Right.
There probably will not be a cure during your lifetime. And you get up anyways, and you get up and you go shopping, and some random lady in the store says, well, if I had that, I'd kill myself. And you're
Exactly.
like, oh, that really gives me the motivation I need to see tomorrow.
And there was that other podcast going around, those guys, and they were like, I don't even, it was just horrible, where they were like, would you stay with your loved one if they got like hit by a car? And did you see that?
I think I did. He used the word cripple or something.
I don't know, but it was hard.
Like that.
Yeah, it was like mangled, and like he was like,
because they're so focused on outward appearance and it's pathetic, because don't we always learn from a young age that inside's what matters?
Not when you're older. No, that goes out the door. Like,
cares about your inside anymore?
No. And like, for sure, there are people who are like, oh, I feel bad for her spouse. Like, why is she like still with him? Like, why is he still with her?
Why are you vocalizing this out loud?
Exactly.
You can think whatever you want.
That's what I tell them.
Whatever feelings you want.
Yeah.
But please do not express this to me or my family, my support.
Exactly. I was like
adding to it.
Yeah. And then I go home and I cry. I go home and I cry.
We cry and it triggers a seizure.
I cry.
How ridiculous the situation
is. And then
there's another one.
And then I beat myself up for crying, because I'm like, how many times could I cry?
Oh my gosh, when you think you ran out of tears and somehow there's like many, many more.
Yeah. 1 second. Like, I feel like there's a Google device going off around me, because I like keep hearing her talking. Like,
the Alexa?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Interruptions, it's fine.
And earlier and shushed me, so the DIY being disabled can't go to a studio situation.
Oh my god. And I'm doing it in my bed, because hello, I'm like chronically ill, so where else am I going to do it? And I have kids running around. I know, right? I hang out in my bed all the time.
And people are like, how do you sleep in the place that you do everything? You adapt, honey. You just adapt.
I mean, I do get sick of my bed. Yeah. I know. But yeah, I do get sick of my bed.
But like, where else am I going to go?
The couch isn't as comfy. And
so energy to get there.
And my bed is just like my safe spot, like for now. It doesn't
my safe spot, and she's my DIY pillow.
Yeah.
Like, you know how we sit on the floor of places nobody thinks you should sit?
Yeah.
It's like you're shopping and you're like, I gotta go down. Right here, right now.
Yeah. Then my physical
cushion. Like when I'm like,
so my physical therapist recommended, or I told him, or something about there's like a pop-up stool you could like put in your bag, and then you can like pop it open and you could just sit on it. So I was like, yeah, I'll just go camping in the middle of the store. Like, okay. Like, I already look strange enough as it is, and now I'm gonna add my little stool.
You know how? Have you ever been to the American Dream Mall?
Yeah.
Some of my nurse
favorite mall.
Because it's like,
it's gorgeous.
I can feel normal as well. There's so
but it's so pretty.
It is. So there are these like little couch areas that look like these like hotel lounges. So she basically grounded me, and she was like, "You're not moving," and I was like, "I am too moving because I'm a teenager and I don't like being told what to do."
Exactly.
And I want to do whatever I want to do.
But I'm not a teenager, and I still don't like being told what to do.
Fair, but like,
yeah. I get it though.
This is what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah. 100%.
I hear that my body's saying I need to sit. I don't want to sit. I want to do. Yeah. So my nurse is like, sit. Not a dog. And then it's ganging up on me with her, and then like, you're not moving till your heart rate is below 100.
You sit. Yeah.
And then like I think within like 10 seconds I was like,
yep.
And she's like videoing me or like timing it, and I'm like,
I used to in the beginning. I used to like black out in my wheelchair, and like.
Okay, I have reverse moment here. What is the weirdest thing you've answered after a seizure before your brain was fully back? To like those questions that they ask you, like, what's your name? What year is it? Da, da, da.
I didn't know who, like, where I was or who anyone was when I had the seizures. Like, I'd wake up and like just be very confused. Like, I would see like my husband or my kids, and I had no clue who they were, like who their names are, nothing. Like, I'd be scared of them. And I wouldn't even know like my own name half the time. Yeah. I don't even know the date now. I don't even think I knew like what day it was then, but I don't even know what day it is half the
thing
time.
That I apparently answered. For the record, I don't have any recollection of a lot of
right.
Like, people insist that it happened, and I believe them.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was supposed to answer who the president was, and I had a hint. And they told me it started with letter B, and I very confidently responded that it was Bernie Sanders. And you couldn't convince me.
Oh gosh.
Arguing with me because my brain is not there.
I'm sure I've had said things, but I don't remember. I'm sure my husband has all these funny stories and recordings.
Actually, that would make a good podcast, interviewing him.
He would never. He would never in a million years. Never. Like, I'd be so shocked if he ever did. Doing this, he's very supportive.
People who I know like interact with my feed and my advocacy because it means they're hearing the message, and I've noticed even unconsciously they're changing their behavior.
Right.
It's so important to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. But Instagram makes no sense. Like, you think you finally got it, and then like,
oh my gosh, tell me about it. On Kylie's account, some of my videos have like 30,000 views, and sometimes
right. And like, it depends like what time, the day, and the
everything matters.
Right, like the time, the day, and the soundtrack you're using. Because like 2 times I posted a reel on a Saturday night at like 8:00 with the soundtrack that was like, you know, already like trending, and those got like 70,000. But then this one, I don't remember when I posted it. It was for sure after 8:00, but it's already at 300,000 views, and I got 500 followers from it. So then I tried again posting it on a Sunday night, like my other one at 8:00 with a trending and nothing. So like, it's like a hit or miss.
I started posting for me and not for other people to try to avoid.
For sure. But it's just like, but then these things make you wonder, like, what makes it go viral? Like, I'm posting for myself. I really could care less, but at the same time, it's pretty cool that it reached that many. And then I met so many people that commented like that they thought they were the only ones, and like, you know, all that on it, because it was about having FND and being pregnant. Right.
We're supposed to be ashamed.
I know. I'm supposed to be hiding.
I don't want to hide. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the new generation is getting a whole different view of disability because of people like us online. And that's so important because they're growing
for sure.
Thinking that there's a point in growing up.
Yeah.
That there's
true. It's true. They see that like you can still have a family and
still be a successful mom.
Exactly. Even though I literally feel like I'm failing half the time but like, I know, but like, it's just so hard.
But you get back up and you try again tomorrow. And that's
exactly. Yeah.
Or maybe you take a week off and you try again.
Yeah. I mean, it's harder on the older kids, not the baby, because like this is all she knows. Like all she but the older kids had me doing everything, and then they went from that to nothing. So they grew up like really fast. But like the baby, she like takes my cane, runs away, and then she knows like I can't chase her. So like I'll literally take my cane and run.
Okay, my husband has a toddler who's out cold right here.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. And like I asked her to bring it back, and it's like a whole game. But yeah, like that's Or she likes to ride she'll want to sit in my lap when I'm in my wheelchair, like a ride. Like, mommy's a ride now. Or I'm a ride, or I'm like the dumping thing. Like, we're out like at a park and everyone gets too hot. So they take off their coats, all their bags, all their coats, and they just dump it on me. They're like, you have a lap. You're just sitting there. Why not? Why not use you as like a lap?
It's so rude.
Like, if I offer it, that's okay. But like, if I'm not going to offer it and you just start dumping, like, the kid's fine, but like,
friends and stuff.
Yeah. My friends are so, like, my friend.
The only time you could put it in my lap is if you're pushing me. Then I'll hold you. Otherwise, no go. You
have to have a friend who is like your ride or die in this situation. Like, she knows you're having a hard time.
I don't have a Christina.
Yeah. I have a friend here who I post Ita, and
Christina.
She takes me everywhere. Yeah, and
maybe Devora is my Christina, but that's a little sad because she's paid to be.
Right. But like,
not to say that she doesn't love me.
I've offered for her to, I'd pay her, but like, at the same time,
she does it though because she cares about you.
Right.
I think Devora does care about me because that develops when you work with someone.
Yeah.
But it's different.
I've been friends with her since we were 5 years old. So like, she's seen me go through everything. But she doesn't look at me like any different, Like, I mean, she'll remind me to like take care of myself, like, especially when at a concert. She's like, did you drink? Do you have your fan? Like, I don't need you passing out. But she's also the friend that, like, when we go to a concert and we don't research the venue and like we have to park like down 3 hills, so she's like pushing me up like the hill, like, that's who she is.
The one who's gonna spit fire at the access issue.
Yeah, like, she's pushing me and doing that, and I'm very lucky with that. Yeah. But then I feel bad. But we've done things I've done things in a wheelchair with her that, like, I've been to a concert in a pit. Like, you don't think you could go to a concert in a pit with a wheelchair. And like, she's the type who was like, let's just do it and see, like, and we've done it. And like, we've had the security guards come over and be like, you can't be here. It's a liability. And like, you have to be towards the back because someone can trip over you or something and you'll get hurt. But then, like, it depends on like what concert you're at, and the crowd will be like, leave her alone. She's not doing anything. Like, why are you bothering her? But like, yeah, she has her minivan. We throw my things in and we go. Because like, mobility aids take up a lot. Like, even a dog, you need to have space for the dog.
Actually, we managed to fly Spirit Airlines without booking bulk.
With the dog?
Fitting within my tiny foot space.
That's impressive. That's impressive. For Spirit. That's impressive. Yeah, because
my dog loved it.
I'm sure. Because flying with a wheelchair is like, it's a pain. Anyways, this was fun. We did it finally, and hopefully this actually works.
If not, part 3.
This is gonna work. Okay. So yeah, thanks for joining, and I hope to have you on again.
Anytime.
Bye.
It was fun to chat.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.